say it comes in threes. Today's three dramas were: I was a bit late leaving the dock this morning. I fully provisioned the boat with water, food and my power banks and everything fully charged, ready to go, and the nice dinghy man came to help me off the dock. I didn't need it, but that's part of his job. And he got chatting, was in a bit of a rush, so I hadn't thought through everything that I needed to do to get the boat ready, and I forgot to turn on the electrics. As we were leaving, a fishing boat came up behind, far too fast for the Marina, but anyway, and I could tell he wanted to overtake as a commercial sized boat is coming into the head of me. So I want to turn to starboard to get out of the way. On the way into the Marina 4 or 5 days ago, I noticed it's quite shallow in that area. It was low tide today and it was going to be even shallower. And I was concerned that I didn't have my depth sounder on and I didn't know the depth. So I runs down to the switch panel, and because I haven't memorised where everything is and it's in quite a dark corner, I had zero time because I'd left the helm with the motor running very close proximity to two other boats and the side of the Marina. So I was extremely rapid in what I was doing, but I needed to look at the depth. So I just flicked on everything, not knowing what was and what wasn't on, so I just put everything on. Unbeknownst to me, when I came down 20 minutes later after I put the sails up and got the boat ready, topsides, the tap was running. And that's because the water pump was off in the Marina because I drink fresh water off the boat and I don't have the water pump on. So I dumped 200 litres of fresh water into the ocean. Frustration number 2, drama number 2. Not a big thing, but it's just frustrating that on the day that I'd made a promise to myself that I was only heading out when I've got favourable wind, which may mean waiting for the right weather window, but trying to cut down on some of the motor mileage. And I failed on day one. It was forecast northerly all day, and it was for the first 2 hours, and I got some nice sailing in. But I'm going directly west, and then of course the wind turned directly west. So it turned out to be 7 hours of motoring again with the wind on the nose. Not very pleasant. I'm just fed up of burning diesel really. And finally, old man rant number 3. 2 days ago I swapped out the head sails. The previous owner, for some reason, has got 2 head sails that are virtually the same, and I was hoping that the second one would be a smaller jib. So the one that was on there I think is a 135% Genoa. This one I think is a 140% Genoa. It's slightly lighter. However, it's very fickle going up. The track of the leech comes out. So I had to go back to the halyard, raise it 4 or 5 inches, go to the track, and it keeps slipping out. You try and lift it with the halyard too far, it just slip out the track. And the final time, because I was messing with the furler a couple of days, so the sail went up and down, I left some slack in the sail so I could put the shackle for the downhaul on, and I forgot to retension it. So under sail today, the foot was very saggy and loose, and it was bothering me. So I thought, well, I'll head into the wind, and I just wanted to get a bit more traction on it, 6 inches of pull, and I pulled it with the halyard and it pulled out of the track even more, so now it was unusable, or pretty much. It looked absolutely awful. So I'm now without a Genoa until I can get to an anchorage that isn't rolling like this one is, and there's no wind. Then I can probably get it back up. It's a bit of a pain because I'm in a very tricky spot of France now. I'm going around the corner of Brittany, and there's islands and races and various things that are very, very turbulent, overfalls, etc. You have to time it right, and you have to make sure you have power and engine to get out of these 8-knot tides and things. So I am not going to attempt those passages without a proper sail plan. So we shall see how long this takes for me to remedy. Hopefully I'll find a quiet spot, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, the wind dies down, I can get up there and sort it out. It's probably only 15 minutes, but knowing my luck, I'll just be in turbulent waves of wind, and it will take a few days for me to get it sorted. We shall see. Well, I managed to get the minimum purchase, I think, apart from one item. So we've got 18 meters of 6mm 12 core Dynalite, which is Dyneema, 6 meters of lashing cord for tensioning and tightening. I've got a Swedish fid for opening up the rope. It's not the one that people have been using in YouTube videos. They will definitely open it, but they've been using a very longer one and going through, I can't remember, something like 17 inches, so that might be a bit of a drama. So electrical tape, which is required just to hold the line firm when you're slicing it with a Stanley knife, and then I've got 2 tensioning turnbuckles, which I may or may not use. So the 80 meters is enough to do the top line. If that goes well, then I can continue on, but I think this might be another idiot on a boat failure video. We shall find out later. Sorry love, you've been a constant worry ever since we first met, so you gotta go. Sorry. So I haven't even started the lashing yet, and I've decided one needs a snack. So we've got prawns Nordique and some brie. At the moment I'm getting through almost a kilogram of brie a week, and one thing I've noticed that's different from God's own country back home is the variance in the brie. Some is quite soft and smooth and light like we have back home, and some of it is more pungent. Vive la différence. So as usual, stuck the first hurdle. I don't have the correct tools. There should be a hook on a fid. So my sawn off tent peg here is acting as a fid. It should have a hook on it, it doesn't, so I've crudely taped and sewn on the line that needs to feed through itself. Where it's sawn off, it was very jagged, so I've had to sand that down for the last 20 minutes. So as usual, I'm doing 3 other jobs rather than the job I should be doing, just to get the job I should be doing working. So I cannot get the line to feed through itself. I can get the sawn off tent peg, which is acting as a fid through there, but this is beginning to look like a bit of chewed lettuce, so that's looking like it's not even going to work, even if I got it working. But I can't get the line through, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. After 4 days, I'll be sorry to see this place go. You do get attached to places after a couple of days. Very, very beautiful town. It's got the same kind of feel to it as Ramsgate. I think it's the French equivalent. I think it's nicer than Ramsgate, but if you add in Broadstairs, it's kind of like on a par. Good morning. So it's Tuesday the something or other. Finally leaving Roscoff after I think it was 4 nights. I've lost track again. So we got less than 10 knots this morning. Got wind coming forward of the beam on the port side. We've got all sails out, nice and baggy, doing between 4 and 4.5 knots. So let's see how long this lasts for, shall we? Righty ho, sports fans. Although it was complete failure, I spent 3 hours trying to feed a line through itself this morning to do a proper sailor-man thing. I've actually got something I'm happy with. So apparently the downside with just using knots is it reduces the breaking strain a little bit, but this is £1,000 line, and unless I eat lots of pies and pancakes, I'm not going to get that fat. So what I've done, I've only done 1 line out of I think 6 so far, is I've got the turnbuckle, which is fantastic, couldn't do without that. This is a bunter line, which is a hitch, so it won't shake undone, you can cinch it up there, reasonably easy to get undone. And what I did here was a bowline, because I was expecting to be able to clip this pelican hook onto a bowline, but it slipped and gave a big knot, which is fine, it's secure. And so what I'm doing is put a shackle on there instead. So this is nice and taut now and very strong. So I think this is going to work. Lighthouse encounter number 3425. Distinguishing features: hidden rocks. However, this lighthouse is quite famous. It's had some very dramatic photos taken of it in certain weather conditions. The sexy side of yachting. So I was thinking about putting a electric bilge pump in this bilge here in Ramsgate, but I decided against it because I just didn't fancy routing the wire all the way to that patch board, and I thought, oh, it's a job for later, because I do have the manual bilge pump in the cockpit, and it's only every now and again you need to pump it out, but that one's not working. So I'm going to have to manually pump this out with a bucket and a baler probably. And then I'm looking at the engine because I think I might be leaking diesel. There's some diesel in there, which is normal, that's not a problem. But I'm not getting the fuel efficiency that I should do. So I'm trying to find that. And I do know I've got a leaking shaft. I don't know if you can hear that dripping, but it's dripping. No, you can't hear it, but it's dripping, I don't know, 10 times more than it should do. So I'm going to have to look at that today. Out of 5 USB charging cables for my phones and nav systems and electronics, I've only got one working. So I've got 4 in a bag with a dehumidifier, trying to get it in the sun to dry it out. We shall see. They just don't like the moisture. Most of the time, in fact 99% of the time, they're inside the boat, but the moisture's still in there. So I'll have to buy 10 more, I think, when I get to a pit stop. So this is Western Super Nightmare. No, it's Camaret Sumer. Very nice. So last night I was drawn by the lights of the big city that is Camaret Sumer to watch the France-Uruguay rugby game. Couple of pints, very nice evening, watch the French get a little bit excited, and that over there, just past that blue yacht, is where I parked the dinghy and had to get back from, only a couple of 100 metres. However, on the way I hit something very close to the shore, so probably a rock, and it's completely totaled my propeller. So I managed to come back. It was slightly more traction in reverse. I don't know how fast I was going, but less than 1 kilometre an hour. I've done a little bit of research. They are available, about €200, but it's where I can go and pick one up or get one shipped to. So I've got to work out the logistics. But it was a wonderful day yesterday, and I was wondering why everything was going well for so long, like 12 hours. It's going to be one of those days. Now the little travel kettle that I bought because it's low wattage isn't working. I've checked the fuse, but I can't even have my coffee this morning. So it looks like I'm rowing into town. There's a relatively good supermarket here, had some of these electronics. So I'll pick up those and then decide what I'm going to do, next steps and how to get the dinghy sorted. Drama!